Welcome to Toonami Preflight. I'm Gil.
I'm Jason.
And today we're going to talk about some stuff. Should we tell people what we're going to talk about?
That's what we usually do.
Okay.
I see no reason to do it differently this time.
Yeah, we'll do it differently eventually, but today we're going to do it the same old, same old. So we're going to talk Code Geass, and in a not very lateral transition to some of our favorite first-person shooters. Sometimes these things match up, and sometimes they don't.
Sometimes they don't.
We've got a sneak peek. We've got a Dana Mobile on the Move, and a look at this week's Adult Swim singles. But let's jump into Code Geass first. That word seems
Code Geass.
like I'm saying it wrong, even though I don't think
I know. It makes me paranoid.
Yeah. So Code Geass was on Adult Swim Action in '07, I believe.
'08. The show came out in '08 and it appeared on Adult Swim the same year, at least according to Wikipedia.
I was thinking it was 06, 7-ish, and late 07 for
Why
Adult
don't you
Swim.
talk about it and I'll research?
Well, that seems like just a cop-out. So, Ebby, Calvin, Lelouch, Nuke Lelouch. Oh, wait, no, that's Bull Durham. That's not Code Geass. So, Lelouch is
Bull
exiled
Durham,
from... Do you not like Bull Durham?
I think Bull Durham is fine, but you really like Bull Durham, and it's totally a marginal movie.
I don't think...
Well, I know you don't think so. Yeah, you were right. 2006 in Japan, and came to... I like that we didn't thoroughly know this research before we record live.
One of us did.
One of us thought he knew. That's not quite
I was
the
being
same.
polite. I knew.
That's not quite the same.
It's even written down here.
It doesn't say when it appeared.
It's 07.
All right.
I did my research. Thoroughly researched.
You went to
No.
Wikipedia.com?
Yeah, and I wrote it down. Which is more than you could do.
Thorough.
More
No,
thorough.
I don't usually write everything down. 'cause
More
I don't,
thoroughly.
I don't usually need to, but I didn't sleep well last night, so...
Maybe you should have written it
See,
down.
no pen. Look at Gil's hand. Yes. Gil needs that.
I don't actually write anything down.
Yeah, he just
It's
twirls
my
it
tick.
like a fucking crazy person. He's been doing it for 20 years.
No.
That, when you talk to Gil every day, you see what he's doing right there with his pen? That's literally what he does all day.
Sometimes I do
every
this.
day. Like, I wonder, that I would punch him in the face if he did that all day.
Sometimes I do this.
But I wonder...
This is straight up Iceman Top Gun right here.
At what age did you start developing your beautiful mind tick that is?
I don't know what you're talking. What tick? What possibly?
Like, at what age did you discover you loved the shit out of twirling a pen in your hand?
When I was on the high school debate team, like,
Gotcha.
When everyone twirls
Was
their
it
pen.
like a cool move you came up with to be like,
No,
look,
it's a
I
cool
know
move that everyone who was on the high school debate team
You're a
across the
gunslinger
country
of
did.
words.
Yeah. As you're writing everything down that somebody's saying, the flow, you,
Cool.
sometimes you're just, it's like...
You also are good about keeping your pens, I noticed. So
keeping,
maybe the twirling action makes you keep your pen better.
What is Val Kilmer's character's name in Tombstone? He twirls his...
Isn't he Doc Holliday?
He is Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have gotten off the track there.
I don't think so. I think we discussed something important because now anyone who watches the show will notice your tick.
I think we changed our camera angle when we moved in. Well, no, we did it when it was the Star Wars toys.
Yeah.
We normally...
You won't.
It was more
can't
down
see your
here.
hands. You're jerking off the whole time.
No, that's this hand.
Normally, it's a lot of that.
You really didn't sleep. Now you're pretty punchy today.
No, I'm just saying.
Should we start over?
No, I think we can just continue. So, Code Geass was 2006 and 7 in Japan, and then came to Adult Swim very shortly after, and we ran all of the... There's 2 series. We ran all of both series on Adult Swim once, I think,
Yeah.
and then the show went away. But it got a full run, and it was pretty popular in Japan. I knew it was popular, but it was more popular than even I remembered. There's multiple OVAs, multiple games, light novels, manga, like the whole shot, and spin-off series. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. And I think it's because the world is interesting enough that you can just sort of set stories in that world, even if it's not about the main characters of the initial story.
Yeah, I mean, it's the sort of alternate history timeline to where anything you do, it's like, no, it's totally the way world is now.
So let's explain the history of the show. So this is basically a world in which Britain has conquered the world, basically. Britannia. And in this show begins several years after Britannia annexes Japan, basically just invades and takes it over. Japan was neutral, and eventually that neutrality didn't work out for them. Britannia took over and basically made Japan a state of Britannia, removed Japanese identity, so it's not called Japan anymore. It's just called Area 11, and all Japanese people are called 11s. And they're also called scum and dirt, and like they're discriminated against, basically.
I don't think we should call people scum and dirt, but the next time we go to Japan, we should just
Scum.
Hello, 11.
But the
Do you think they would like that?
I mean, if they knew what you were talking about now. I think that, it's interesting because that kind of happened to Japan when they lost World War II. America went in, and we didn't certainly erase their cultural identity, but we definitely rewrote what Japan was up until before the atom bomb dropped. And we helped rebuild Japan, and Japan very much was a different country by the time 10 years of American occupation was done. So there are definitely roots in what happened in real life in Japanese history in this show, which for me makes it a lot more fascinating because it's a perspective of a people that this has kind of actually happened to.
Yeah.
So the show concerns Lelouch, who is
He is the Prince of Britannia, exiled to Japan, and his mother's killed. And most of the show is like 7 years after the war is over, and he meets Cece and learns the power of Gies, which is he can say one word and look somebody in the eye, and it's basically mind control.
It's more than one word, but he can say it one time. It's like he can look someone in the eye one time and tell them what to do, and they'll do whatever he wants. So when he first gets the power, it's a pretty sweet scene because it's a bunch of soldiers about to arrest him, and he's just like, kill yourselves, and they all just turn and kill each other. So through his power, he decides to become a counter-revolutionary, and it's an interesting show because he starts off as a good guy, and because of his power, he slowly starts winning, and eventually, spoiler alert, he takes over the whole thing and becomes an emperor, and he basically becomes a bad guy in order to beat the bad guy, so that by the end of the show, whether or not you, the viewer, consider him a villain, certainly many other people consider him the villain. It's just an interesting journey that you don't normally see in a show like this.
It's very much the means justify the ends in his mind, and then it's how far do you go with that?
He goes way too far.
He goes,
and the show basically ends with his best friend and he facing off because his best friend sort of stayed true to his ideals, and Lelouch basically, his ideals either changed or he sacrificed them for what he thought was the greater good. But it's the greater good. It's an interesting layered show, and the only thing about it I'm not a huge fan of is the designs. I know that Clamp did all the designs, and they're a pretty legendary studio, and I like Clamp, but the hyper stylization sometimes, it's just, I don't know, it's tough. It makes it,
it's very stylized.
Yeah, the super pretty boy look of everything, it just makes it a little hard for me to get into, but it does have some really well-animated, beautiful sequences. It's got mechs. They call them murder frames or whatever the hell they're called, death frames or something. So it's sort of steampunky. There's like robots and stuff, but everyone dresses in Edwardian type costumes. But it's definitely a cool world and an interesting alternate reality type show. Sort of a sci-fi fantasy, I guess.
Yeah.
Adult Swim, when it premiered the show, was in that era of just sort of, here's a show. So they did do a couple things for it.
It was getting the shows quickly was definitely in the plus column.
Yeah.
Effectively promoting them,
they didn't have
less so.
They didn't have a promo department, so there's that. So let's check out. Was a bump and another.
So
promo?
the first is a bump launching the show, and then there's a bump talking about making a spot, which is then kind of a spot, but not really.
All right, let's look at the first bump. That's a good tagline.
Yeah.
That's a better tagline than I would have come up with, I think.
I think so too.
But that was from the days where everybody was picking on Adult Swim. All the anime fans were mad at them, and they were sort of playing around with the "we hate anime."
Really leaning into it.
Yeah, really leaning into it, which, unfortunately now bites us in the ass, but I get it. And so now this is the other bump.
Not
Hurry!
Thought it was
ein Lelouch fever.
on me. I wanted to end.
So yeah, that was back when anime fans sort of were wanting that Toonami style love for shows, and Adult Swim's had no promo department, and so the bump team was just having to do it all. And so they were just like, "Look, here's what we can do." If Hama didn't have time, it didn't get a promo, basically.
Yeah.
Because we were doing other stuff. But yeah, so people have asked about Code Geass on Toonami. I don't know, but it's a good show. I think it would fit on Toonami, but we've already run it, so yeah. But it's definitely worth a watch, and it's sort of more like it actually feels like, a 2016. It's 10 years old, but it feels very much like a modern anime in a lot of ways. And I'm not sure if that's just due to the designs, which still look sort of modern, or that it's sort of one of those fantasy shows that's not really a fantasy show, which is so vogue right now for this genre. But interestingly, it was supposed to premiere and be like a younger show originally in Japan, and they found out they got a later time slot and decided to suddenly make it a more adult, mature show because of that time slot. And I think that was a smart decision, because I can't imagine the show working for kids.
Yeah, historical,
too dark and
rooted,
too many politics.
Politically driven.
There's a lot of speeches.
Shows are not necessarily children. Young children with us.
But there was more action. But there's a lot of speeches about revolution and what's right and what's wrong, and it's a pretty. I would say it grapples with a lot of moral questions, and not that kids shows shouldn't, but it's sort of slow in parts, and I just think it probably benefited from being pushed into that later time slot. But so check it out, Code Geass. If you haven't seen it, I think it's worth a try. There's 2 series, a bunch of OVAs,
and the full or the complete series, whatever Blu-rays are coming out next month. I think.
Yeah, and you can watch them all on Funimation if you have their. If you have a subscription to the Funimation service, they're all there. And I don't think they're...
Yeah, weirdly,
or
if
they
you
might
don't,
be on Crunchyroll.
You can watch the first 4 and then close to the last 4, which seems like a weird
Check it out.
scenario.
Here's the beginning, here's the end. So that's this week's show of the week, and now we're on to the question of the week. What's your favorite first-person shooter game? We could have just said first-person shooter, but...
maybe people are thinking...
Well, what else would they
and it would be Hardcore Henry, perhaps?
That's it. That's literally or it would be the Prodigy video, that one.
Right.
Smack My Bitch Up video.
See?
So I'll go first.
We should alternate within the thing. Not this time, because it's going to throw
up our
a wrench in too much, but it should be...
We can tap out if you want.
I think it should be...
We can do the...
We'll do it in a round.
Tag team.
Row.
But this time I'll go first, and my first choice is an old ass game, and that is Perfect Dark for the N64. And Perfect Dark was created by a company called Rare, who are defunct now, I believe, and they created a whole bunch of classic games in that era, including Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye 007, a whole bunch of great games. So they finished GoldenEye, and evidently they lost the bid for the next Bond game, because GoldenEye was a big hit, probably the biggest, I would say, in terms of how much it was talked about, it was definitely one of the biggest shooters of that era.
That's why I picked it for my first one.
And they finished GoldenEye, and they were talking with movie studios about Tomorrow Never Dies, which was the next Bond movie, and they got crazily outbid by some other studio who just offered, we'll do it for nothing. And they turned out they were like, we were kind of tired of James Bond anyway. So they decided to use the lessons they learned on GoldenEye and try to make an even better, deeper shooter, and I feel that they succeeded with Perfect Dark. So Perfect Dark is an original story. It's set in the future, and you play a character named Joanna Dark, and she's called Perfect Dark because she has a perfect mission rating. And she is working for basically a government agency and trying to battle an evil corporation. But there's like AI, there's 2 alien races that are using proxy humans to battle each other. There's all kinds of like the plot's cool. It's kind of convoluted, but it's cool. And it's just about 17 levels of really well made, well designed puzzle solving and shooting. And then there was a whole multiplayer aspect, which I didn't play quite as much as I did with their previous game, but the multiplayer was pretty dang fun. They then made a sequel, which wasn't very good, and now Perfect Dark's kind of defunct because, you know, I guess if it's not rare, it just, the magic wasn't there. Because I played
Less than Perfect Dark.
The sequel was a launch game for the Xbox.
Would have been, yeah.
It was a launch game for the Xbox, and it was just
maybe PS2.
And I was so excited, and it was just not good. But I found this hilarious commercial from back in the day. The gameplay videos aren't going to... Anyone who's young is not going to understand why this game was any good because it looks like absolute trash nowadays, just graphics-wise. I did play the updated version. In fact, I had the cartridge in my desk at work. It's one of the few things that ever got stolen from me at Turner. I had the cartridge in my desk, and it had a perfect rating on... Basically, which... If you know anything about those games, that's an insane thing to do. That would be a one-man
When game saves were saved on the game.
Yeah, that would be a one-man's trash for me. So yeah, this game saves were saved on the cartridge. I left it in my desk because I was like, I will never get rid of this because I got a perfect rating.
That's why I threw it away.
And someone went in my office and jacked it. I hope they enjoyed it.
Do you?
I mean, if they're going to take it, I hope they at least enjoyed it and didn't sell it.
Cool.
So here's a funny old commercial that also we can talk about how they advertised for games back in the day. Check this out.
Welcome to 2023. Big businesses now merge with alien nations. An ancient war is being fought under the sea. The president is about to be cloned. And it's your job to try and save the world. So you've got an important decision to make. What are you going to wear to work? From the team who brought you GoldenEye for N64, meet Special Agent Joanna Dark in Perfect Dark, where you'll find out that the only person man enough to handle a job like this is a woman. Perfect Dark. Rated M for mature.
So that was back in an era when they were just like, some TV producer was like, how do we sell this game? It's all boys that play this. Let's get some boobs in here. And then the copywriting is just like, I mean... I guess they were trying to highlight that it was because it was unusual for you to play as a woman then. Yeah. It's still unusual now, unfortunately, but it was then definitely. So they were trying to highlight it, but of course they managed to do it in the most
sexist way
way imaginable. But funny side story, the VO in that spot is the great Don LaFontaine, who is a voiceover legend. He has passed away, but I had worked with him several times, and I can't say he ever liked me, but I liked him. And I have a little piece of a recording that I saved because I was doing a spot for the movie Escape from Alcatraz, which is on YouTube if you want to find it, for TNT. And I explained to Don the type of read I wanted, but Don he's been doing the same Don voice he had been doing it for 40 years at that point, and I think he just thought, I don't care what you think. I'm going to do me, and that's working, and that's why you called me. And he has
that's a good point.
Fair point. He has a fair point. So this is what and I was luckily already recording, and he had very little time, so he just wanted to get to the read. So here is what Don said to me.
Fuck you. Who cares?
So let's do that one more time. That's Don LaFontaine.
Fuck you. Who cares?
And the reason I still have it is another funny story. Our audio guy, Brent, basically was there when that went down, he was working at the same studio. Yeah. So he got the track because everybody thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard. And he kept it and has it as a button he can just press. So when he doesn't like something I say, he just pulls it up and it goes.
Fuck you. Who cares?
So anyway, good story. So next up is they're really talking about the series as opposed to a specific game, but Serious Sam. The footage I'm going to show you is from Serious Sam 3, but Serious Sam, the whole series is the Serious Sam series is hilarious.
Seriously.
It's probably the dumbest shooter series. It's been on PC mostly, but it's also been on some consoles. There's never any big deal made about it. It's just like, oh, there's a Serious Sam. Like, every time there's been another Serious Sam game, I'm always like, oh, shit, there's a Serious Sam game. Like, there's no...
That's how they run their campaigns, too.
Marketing push, like... So it's kind of in the tradition of Duke Nukem or your really dumb shooters from days of yore. Unlike modern shooters that all follow the Halo thing of one pistol, one gun, or one pistol to, a shotgun and a rifle or something, Serious Sam was like, nah, you can have like 40 weapons. You can't gain health. You have to kill guys to get to eat their, to eat health bubbles or whatever. And it's just the whole thing with Serious Sam is it's hundreds of guys running at you at the same time. It's complete and total chaos. And it's probably the dumbest, just pure action shooter I've ever played. And I love it because it's so stupid and hilarious because dumb things will happen while you're playing that make you giggle in the middle of shooting 100 million guys. So here is a clip of Serious Sam 3 to give you some idea.
Beneath the sands of the earliest known human civilization, traces of another, even more ancient, are uncovered. Everything seemed perfect. But perfect never lasts. In desperation, the world leaders turn to their last chance.
Line up! I'm offering free tickets to hell. Santa wants to fry the earth, and we're protecting a museum?
We've been able to decipher the tablets Professor Stein was working on. Apparently, there's another Syrian chamber beneath the Great Pyramid. We finally got an actual piece of Syrian tech running.
Extraction has failed. The bird is down.
Sam? Is that you? You're alive? We can't hold out long. Fuck you!
It's a shame to let good dynamite go to waste.
They're coming out of the goddamn wall!
Oh, it's not over until I teabag every last one of you alien motherfuckers. As we go.
I mean, it's just dumb, corny fun, pretty much. So if you like dumb, corny fun, you should try Serious Sam. I have no idea what the plots of any of them are because I never pay any attention to the story.
Yeah, watching that, I was like, is that really what
They
it
don't
was
usually
about?
do cinemas, but there's some sort of framework of a story. And then finally, I'm going to talk about a particular gaming series I've been playing since the beginning, and that is, of course,
time.
Call of Duty. I'm a longtime fan of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, I'm not sure when Call of Duty 1 came out. It's about 10 years ago now. Something a little more
The
than that.
first
maybe.
Call of Duty?
Yeah.
It would have been more like 15 plus.
So the first Call of Duty was PC only, and then by the time Call of Duty 2 came around, they were starting to port it over to consoles. Gil and I played Call of Duty 1 and 2 on PC, he had a PC in his office, a gaming rig, and we played the shit out of some Call of Duty. I like the whole Call of Duty series. Nowadays, I don't really play the single player at all. I just play the multiplayer because the single player story is usually not to my taste. But
Diplomatically said.
But back in the day, I really liked the World War II Call of Duty. I kind of wish they would get back to that. When they moved on to Modern Warfare, which is sort of the game that changed the whole deal, I was really excited, and now it's sort of the opposite. Now I'm ready. They keep going further into the future and turning it into Halo, and I would rather they went back in time again and did something different. I like what Battlefield's doing with their World War I game. I just don't like Battlefield games. Hopefully Call of Duty will do something like that. But Call of Duty was one of the first shooters I played that was just... I never knew if I was going to make it through anything. Like, they did a really good job of setting up a really intense scenario that you just didn't think you could beat, and sort of guiding you to a spot without it feeling like they were guiding you to a spot, and making you just have to fight like cats and dogs to get the hell out of a corner. It was a super adrenaline kind of shooter. And then, I don't know when they started the multiplayer. It might have been as early as back then, but I didn't...
You could play multiplayer on PC, but we couldn't at work.
I don't think it was till Call of Duty 3 that you could play on console multiplayer that we
on
really
the
started.
Xbox.
Yeah.
But that was always... You could never get a game.
Yeah.
When it worked, it was super fun, but it never worked.
And then World at War.
Yeah.
I could talk about any Call of Duty, really, but I'm going to talk about my personal favorite one, which is Call of Duty 2. And here is a clip so you can see what that was like.
Hey, Braybird, you look like you're going to puke. You know what, Donnie? Why don't you just...
Dog Company, listen up! Men on the beaches are counting on us to take out the coastal guns on those cliffs. Move fast, get topside, and get the job done! Get down!
That guy's in it to win.
Back when sniping took actual aiming before it was ruined by Call of Duty itself.
So yeah, I just love that game because you go through several different...
Saving Private Ryan, the game.
I mean, yeah, you go through several different ally setups. You're in Stalingrad playing as a Soviet trooper when the Germans invade. You do D-Day.
That was the one where they hand one guy the rifle and the other guy 5 bullets, and one guy the rifle and another guy 5 bullets.
I mean, if you have any interest in World War II, the Call of Duty games are great. So those are 3 of my favorite first-person shooters.
Nice.
Gil?
Up first for me is the aforementioned GoldenEye 007 by Rare. I don't know which I actually liked more between Perfect Dark and GoldenEye. I definitely feel like I played GoldenEye more, and that may have just been that in the early halcyon days of Toonami, sitting in one room all together playing split screen 4-person GoldenEye
I think Perfect Dark was
hours and hours.
Was a better one-player game, but I think we played more GoldenEye multiplayer for sure.
And
because that was an early days of Toonami thing. We had GoldenEye and all
we
the
had
Toonami
sort
crew.
of our one room, and then that was where the computers and editing system was, and then there was like a little side room by the stairs with a TV and a 64, and we would play all the time. So other than playing various iterations of the multiplayer in headshots only, extra fast pistols,
we had a whole we played it so much that we finally had a setup that we would all do, which was double speed, pistols only, headshots
only,
one shot kill.
Only headshots would kill you, but it was one shot kills.
Yeah.
So if you hit somebody in the head, it would kill you.
And with the graphic rate, with the way the graphics were back then, it was basically double speed meant everything was like
it was
so someone would appear and you just go.
So you had to play the single player levels on 00 difficulty and beat them by a certain time to unlock the multiplayer
extra
cheats.
Stuff. Yeah.
And the hardest one for me was the level that we're going to show in a second, which was the facility on 00 in, I think it's under like 2 minutes. Looking at that clip now, you can't tell what the hell's going on. So this is not that. This is a slightly slower version. But at the time, you were like, look how good all these graphics look.
This looks
they
great.
Totally mapped these dudes' faces on these characters. So let's check out Facility from GoldenEye.
Sean Bean never looked better.
An incredible likeness of just. But yeah, that guy was hauling ass, but that's like still twice as slow as you had to do for the actual for difficulty. Invincible. But anyway, GoldenEye probably doesn't hold up against games of today, but at the time was the shit. Second for me is Half-Life 2, which came out in 2004
Electric
from
Boogaloo.
Valve. We had a PC, but quickly they realized that we didn't really need one, so they didn't really let us keep buying stuff. We had a very small window.
Upgrade the graphics.
The rest of the computer was all. I mean, the rest of the company was all Apple based,
and still is mostly.
Yeah. So having a dedicated, we could probably actually do it now, but we don't.
We don't have anywhere to put it.
So we didn't play a lot of PC games. I didn't play Half-Life 2 until the Orange Box came out for the 360 in, I think it was 2007.
Yeah.
But this is a continuation of the Half-Life story. You play as Gordon Freeman. You probably have been waiting, if you play this game, 15 years? No.
Yeah, I don't know. They did the...
Half-Life 3 is maybe coming out at some point. They've only put out about a dozen games in between.
Those Valve bastards just got all caught up
they
in
got
their
that
little
Steam money coming in, and it's just hard.
Steam money, and I don't want to work for that Half-Life crap.
But the Orange Box in and of itself was an amazing, like probably the best value, I think, ever in terms of you pay for a full price game and you get 9 games that are
great games.
Super sweet.
You get Team Fortress.
Yeah, it was Team Fortress 2, Portal, Half-Life 2, and the 2 add-ons at the end.
And Half-Life 1.
Yeah.
It was like the whole thing.
So this clip that we're going to show is doing the achievement that's probably the dumbest and still most closely guarded into my heart achievement in a video game that I've done. We can probably just go ahead and roll this clip, and I'll talk through it. So this is putting the gnome in the rocket ship that you have to carry. You get it almost at the very beginning of the game. He's hiding underneath a bunk in the first, when you make it out of the sort of where you're awakened and you get out into the world. And you have to carry him, put him in the car, drive him around with you the whole time, the whole game. And so you put him in this ship as this alien's getting in at the end. And all the videos were, it's everybody just like me, loved the fact that they were doing this thing. So all the YouTube videos are cut to, like, it's their holiday field trip. So it's like shots of the little gnome in various places. It's like a Travelocity video. So this is just showing you literally just putting it in and launching it off.
It's a crazy, insane achievement because I watched Gil do it, and half the stuff is like driving around in a Jeep getting chased by giant things, and like it's bouncing all over the place. He kept having to double back and grab it. I was like, this is so stupid. I couldn't even wrap my mind around it.
Which is what I loved about it. And looking on YouTube now, evidently there's glitches where you can like wedge the gnome in the car.
Cheat,
and it's like, if you're doing that, what the fuck are you doing? So anyway, Half-Life 2.
If you're not really putting it in a vice.
Yeah, like if you're not going to grind your face in, then move on.
Yeah.
You didn't earn it.
That's what I did.
You didn't earn the right to be here. All right. So last for me.
Got intense for a minute.
Yeah, it's real shit.
You're serious
real
about
talk.
your grinding.
Yeah. I used to care a lot. I care less now, just in general.
You never cared.
There was that one day. Last for me is Blood Dragon, which is the standalone sort of DLC, kind of not, for Far Cry 3. You don't have the crafting elements, and you don't have really the skill tree. They just sort of auto level you up as you go along, which for Jason was a much improved
I didn't like
element
Far Cry
of
3
Far
that
Cry
much,
3.
yeah.
I liked Far Cry 3, but I still loved Blood Dragon even more. So this is the trailer for Blood Dragon. Let's check it out.
Sausage, pancakes, and cream. Lots of it. Nouveau Palais. We're waiting for you.
It is the near future. The apocalypse has had an apocalypse. A rogue cyborg army is reshaping the world into cyber hell. And only one thing can stop them.
Let's show them how cyber commandos get it done. Mark 4 style, motherfucker! I want them alive.
From the toxic ashes of Vietnam War II, a new breed of renegade soldier is born. Part man, part machine. All cyber commando.
Fuck you.
Sergeant Rex Colt is leading the battle between good and evil. As it's never been fought before. He's on a desperate mission to bring down a battalion of ruthless killer cyborgs and save the world.
Lights out, Rex.
Michael Biehn is Sergeant Rex Power Colt in this year's most thrilling, action-packed cyber adventure. Far Cry 3. Blood Dragon. Island and children sold separately.
So obviously leaning super into the 80s.
Pretty great, though.
But I thought it was super fun.
Michael Biehn was an inspired touch.
Yeah. Like, it was definitely a labor of love for them, you could tell. So those are some of our favorite first-person shooters.
Definitely our
games.
favorites.
Some of.
Dr. Steve Bloom.
We don't want to...
we're going to get on a broat later.
We don't want to limit it because we're going to come down. So let's check out Adult Swim's favorites.
So you guys chose Halo. Of course, I figured Halo would be high on the list. It really did change shooters, so I don't blame you. Call of Duty, GoldenEye, BioShock, which, and then Borderlands. Get out of here.
Jason doesn't like Borderlands.
I mean, I actually do like Borderlands. Not fair. Not a fair assertion. I like Borderlands. I've played both Borderlands games, but I don't love Borderlands or think it's one of the best shooters ever made. That's crazy talk. It's, at best, a fun romp.
Yeah.
Let's check out the Toonami Facebook pics. So Toonami, pretty similar. Halo 3 in particular. Call of Duty 4. Is that Modern Warfare?
Yes.
Yeah. Borderlands 2 and BioShock, and then, of course, Metroid Prime, which is another very popular one, which I didn't really ever like.
Yeah, me neither.
I like the original Metroid, but not the first-person Metroid.
Same.
Thanks for sending us your answers, though. So let's get on to this week's sneak peek that a lot of you guys are going to be excited about. And the first thing we're going to talk about is, of course, our newest show coming to the block, and that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So people have asked, is it going to be uncut? Yes, as uncut as it could possibly be. People have asked, are you going to use Roundabout in the open of the show? And my answer to you is, here's our promo.
This moment's been a long time coming, JoJo.
Dio, you villain! What sort of monster have you become?
That mast must be destroyed, and its master must be reduced to ash!
You dare think you could lay a finger on me? I will stand astride this world. Humanity will kneel at Dio Brando's feet.
I'm not going to let you kill anyone else! Your fight is with me!
Prepare for the carnage!
Courage is to look your fear in the eye and know that it has no dominion over you. Bare your soul, hold nothing back, lest you not survive beyond this moment!
Dio! I'm not done with you!
Won't you die already?
My spirit trembles, my heart is ablaze! Sento Hormone Overdrive!
Blood is thicker than water. Get ready for the premiere of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Saturday, October 15th at 12:30.
JoJo!
Only Toonami on Adult Swim.
So that should answer your question about yes. That is going to be premiering after Toonami moves to midnight. For those of you who didn't know, Adult Swim will be moving to 9 p.m. start time on
October 1st.
And as a result, Toonami has to go back a half an hour back to midnight. We'll still have the same number of shows, so we're going to go from midnight to 3:30. And JoJo's will premiere at 12:30.
Correct, on October 15th.
And replace One Punch Man, which will end
at 12:30.
Yes, at 12:30.
Starting October 1st.
And now we also have One Punch Man's, this week's One Punch Man topical promo. This is for episode 11. It's this Saturday at 12:30. Check it out.
On the next all-new episode of One Punch Man.
What is the problem?
I've allowed one of the natives of this planet to infiltrate the ship. In the mere 4 minutes since he came aboard, has somehow managed to instantly kill every warrior sent to intercept him.
Do not panic. My top lieutenants will destroy him.
One Punch Man, Saturdays at 12:30.
Hey, open the door. You've got a visitor. Oops, think I broke it.
One Punch is always good for a laugh. And then coming up next, we also have a Mobile on the Move from Dana, voice of Sarah. And Dana is playing Marvel Tsum Tsum. So check out her Mobile on the Move.
She gets a little help from Anka.
Nice.
Hi, it is Dana, and today we are talking about Marvel Tsum Tsum. Now, there is a Disney Tsum Tsum mobile game that was released a while ago that's a lot of cute Disney heads, but this is the Marvel version. I've been playing it. I've gotten a couple people in the office to start playing it so that I could play co-op with them, and I want to talk about it. You have to match all of these little heads that have fallen off the shelf, supposedly shaped like these long wiener dogs, but all I've seen so far are the circles. Like every time I play it, all I see are circle heads. So in my head, I assume they're spheres, but they're not. I went on a Reddit thread and just started befriending people so I would get more energy every day. You're given a limited amount of energy every day. So right now, I've got 5 lightning bolts. It resets like every 10 minutes you get one more lightning bolt. It's kind of like if you played something like Candy Crush. The hope there is that you will spend money on more things, which I have, because you get in this addiction zone and you want to keep playing. Everybody has different powers. So for example, Iron Man, he has a thing called Repulsor Blast where he can clear most of the screen. He has a thing called Unibeam, or he uses a powerful beam to clear Tsum Tsum in the middle, which is helpful if you're in a battle. There's a lot of different strategies, like ideally you want to detonate a bomb when you're in Mega Charge. Putting 7 people together makes a bomb. I will say battling is more fun with a friend. And I enlisted the help of Anka to do co-op with me. Anka, what are we gonna do?
We're gonna Tsum Tsum it up.
Tsum Tsum it up. I'm so excited right now.
I'm getting stressed out already.
No, don't get stressed out. We're gonna win those ISOs. Okay.
So are we playing, like, can I see what you're doing? Can you see what I'm doing?
No, I think we just both go until he dies. Like I thought that we would be able to see what each other was doing. Or maybe his power was going, but so far on my screen all I see is what I'm doing. I don't see what...
Yeah, I don't see what you're doing.
This is kind of lame, actually.
It's just like you're playing together.
Yeah, we're just both playing, but not aware.
Side by side.
Yeah, maybe that's like to keep the anonymity of it, because you're supposed to sort of friend randos.
Oh,
possibly.
that makes sense.
Oh, okay, finish. That was pretty quick. Should we take on?
Killed it.
Win. Suck it. Co-op. I think we get good. We get like points for this.
Oh, you got a dime. I just got 200 points.
The luck is like what factors in. Like if you have a high luck, that means that you get better rewards. I think this is a really, really great game for people who like Marvel characters. Also, it's a very slow progress. If you're trying to reach 30,000 coins to get what's called a coin box, it's gonna take a long time. You also need coins for things like breaking your level caps, and on certain powers you have to use coins to help level people up. I encourage you to play this. It's fun to see, and I think you can do it without spending money. Even though I have spent money, I think you can do it in a way that you won't necessarily, or maybe you'll spend a little bit and see how it feels. Because it is free, and sometimes with freemium games I like to just pay a little bit or pay what I think is sort of a cap of how much I enjoy it. And unfortunately, I played this again 2 weekends in a row. This has been taking over my life, so I may need to take it off of my phone for a bit. Anyway, that's all for Mobile on the Move this week, Marvel Tsum Tsum. If you have a game to recommend, please feel free to tweet at me. I'm at DanaIsAGirl on Twitter. Thanks, guys. Tsum Tsum.
Yeah, that's not for me, but I'm glad Dana had fun with it.
Same. Thanks, Dana.
I can't imagine jamming a bunch of stupid Marvel heads into a thing for coins. But I can see if you're into that, that'd be cool. Thank you, Dana. And then finally, we have this week's Adult Swim single, which is...
What? That was a question?
Sort of. Sometimes it is, actually. So we finally have this week's Adult Swim single, and it's a song from Captain Murphy, a.k.a. Flying Lotus. It's been a couple years since there's been a Captain Murphy song, and we have premiered most of the new Captain Murphy songs. So in the proud tradition of Captain Murphy premieres, we premiered it on Wednesday. So let's take a sneak peek.
It's the kind of night that feel perfect for some mischief. Split on it reveals my worst intentions. They watch the wheels of the caddy chase the shadows when the sun set. Mad I let these dumb thoughts manifest to regrets. And stained sweat, sticky fingers, bad dreams. Garlic breath, itchy feet, belly farts, and pimple cream. The night is nothing like it seems. I bend around the corner till I make it.
So Captain Murphy, hot shit. If you want that or other songs in the series, we're getting close to the end. We're about a month and a half from the end. Go to adultswim.com/singles and you can download all 20 whatever that are out. And, of course, we'll have another one for you next week. And that concludes today's broadcast.
Nice job.
We'll be back next week with a new episode.
And remember, tomorrow night's Toonami and moving forward is half an hour later until we get to daylight saving time.
And moving forward,
and then it's going to be
Toonami.
falling back an hour. So that's...
Just forget it. Just
see you at midnight.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.